Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Coffee with the Critters. I'm out here at Toledo Botanical Gardens at their 10th Annual Wildlife Festival. I'm out here with Nature's Nursery, where I volunteered with them for over 10 years. I'm going to go up here and see Moon. I trained Moon for about 9 months before I bought the center. I volunteer all my training to Nature's Nursery, so I've had several of their animals in our house, in our aviaries. This is where Willie comes from. So we're at the Toledo Botanical Gardens in Toledo, Ohio. It's absolutely beautiful here and a perfect day. So I'm going to zip it. We're going to go up and I'm going to show you Moon. You guys have probably seen her before. And I'm probably going to live stream a couple different times today.
So this here is Moon. Moon is our barred owl, and we've had her for about 8 years now. The reason she came to us was she was an orphan, and when we raised her up, she decided that she liked people more than other owls. And so we actually, we're training her. We actually did our best to get her back out into the wild, because that's our goal, that's our mission. We don't want to have these education ambassadors, we want them to get out back in the wild. That's our main goal. And so we actually put her with another owl named Sam, and her and Sam did not get along at all. Again, she chose to fly to us and look and see what we were doing versus being an owl and being what Sam was trying to get Sam to teach her to do. So she actually went through training at the Animal Behavior Center for about a year, I believe, and owls are very hard to teach. You miss a couple of days and you have to basically start all over again with them. Owls, they are very intelligent as far as hunting and survival goes. Learning commands is very difficult for them. So you have to be on it, you have to be able to train them every day. So as she grew up, Moon was a great animal ambassador, and she still is, but she's now become a little bit more shy around people. That's why she's looking around. Sometimes you'll see her duck down and she'll grab my hand a little bit harder. That means she's about to bait. When she baits, it's not necessarily a good thing. It means that she is very stressed. She's looking around, she's trying to get away, just because something scared her. Barred owls are actually, used to be pretty common around here. So if you guys are familiar with the Great Black Swamp, barred owls loved that area. It was filled with food, good, really big, old trees, which is what these owls really need. These small trees right here that you see around here are not good for barred owls. So if you hear a barred owl, that means whatever area they are in, that's a good indicator, if you hear these owls, of a pretty good habitat to have. It means you have an old forest, lots of food for them to eat, and they're able to breed there and have babies. Owls, you can really see it with Moon here. You'll see her facial disc. It's that big circle. So that facial disc is super important to owls. It's kind of like a satellite dish. And what happens is she's collecting sound with that facial disc, and it's going into her ears. But her ears, guys, are actually not like ours.
She's gonna bait.
Her ears are actually offset. So there's one up here, and there's one down here. And what that is, it kind of works like a GPS. It helps them triangulate where their prey is. And then if you see her big fluffy feathers, her feathers are also super important for an owl. So you notice the barred pattern, that's why she's called a barred owl. And that helps her camouflage in the trees from predators and also to hide maybe from some prey. That way she can sneak up on them. And her feathers are also super important because she has silent flight. So, why sneak up? Stay back, please. So owls are capable of silent flight, which means she could flap her wings and fly right over your guys' head right now, and you wouldn't hear it. If she flies and baits right now, that means, and the noise you hear is actually her hitting her wings on my glove. It's not actually her wings you're hearing. And that's because they have specialized feathers, and if you go look at our biofact table over there, where the kids' crafts are, you can see a great horned owl wing that really shows They have comb-like feathers or comb-like structure around each one of their feathers. So when they flap their wings, the sound goes through it. And that's very important to, again, hide from predators. If something's sneaking up on them, that thing might not hear them fly away. Or if they're going after prey, so they might be going after a bunny or a squirrel, snakes even, they'll even go after fish.
See what's going on.
Those things
So
can't hear
she
them
looks
coming
like she's getting ready
because of
to
those
try to
silent
fly to
wings.
that tree.
You'll notice her eyes are very, very dark, and that's because she's primarily a nocturnal animal. With all nocturnal animals, if you see them out during the day, it's not a bad thing. It's just something scared them from where they were sleeping. So like bats, raccoons, owls. If you see them during the day, I promise you it's not a bad thing. Something just scared them. But those eyes are really important. They're very dark, and that means she has huge pupils. And so she has more rods than cones. Rods allow them to see in black and white. The cones allow them to see in color. They don't have many cones. It's mainly rods. And that really allows them to get the light from the stars and the moon as they're flying around. And unfortunately now street lights. That also allows them to see a little bit better. But it also doesn't allow them to hide very easily either with all the light. Owls eat their prey whole. So when they do that, they swallow the bones, the feathers, and the furs too. They can't pull that apart. And so sometimes you'll see on the ground owl pellets, and that's what an owl pellet is. It's the bones, the fur, and the feathers. And what it does is it goes into their gizzard first, where it kind of digests, and then they'll cough it back up. And that'll go to school groups, and we'll have school groups dissect them, and you'll find the entire skeleton of whatever they ate in there. It's super cool to see. How many of you have ever dissected an owl pellet? Yeah? Were you able to find the full skeleton? No? No? Well, also, not just owls do pellets, but hawks do too. And the reason owl pellets are the ones that school groups dissect are because you usually get the full skeleton. Hawks tear their prey into pieces, and so if you dissect a hawk pellet, you'll just get maybe a bone here, a bone there. You won't get the full skeleton. Do you have any questions about her? Yes. What eats owls? That's a good question. So when they're this size, not much will eat them. As adults, usually they're preyed upon by usually bigger birds, so bigger owls. But once they're this size, not much. As babies though, just about anything can eat them. They can't fly, they're kind of stuck in the nest, and then they start fledging. And at that time, they rely on their parents to protect them. So as babies, things like snakes can crawl up the trees. Opossums will eat eggs. Things that can go up in the trees and usually eat their eggs is usually what preys on owls.
In the winter, this last winter, in the snow, in our front yard was a huge rabbit that was pretty much tore apart and not a lot was left of it, maybe the ears, the legs. And I saw the swish mark, so I knew it was a big bird. And
Yeah.
I have heard owls out there. We're by the Anthony Wayne Trail, and there's a lot of big trees.
Yep.
So would that bird go after a big full-size rabbit?
Yep, potentially, yeah. So there's lots of birds around that will do that. You have hawks, like red-tailed hawks. If you saw swish marks, then it was definitely a bird. It could have been a great horned owl. It could have been a barred owl. If you're in an area where there's eagles, it could have been an eagle. So lots of big birds will prey on rabbits.
If we use pesticides for
Yes.
mice and rats, can you tell us how that could be damaging to them?
Yes, so if you use fertilizers, when the owl is walking on the ground, it could burn their feet. If you use pesticides to kill rodents, the bigger predators will eat them. So not just owls, but all predators will eat those. And that pesticide will then accumulate inside of the bigger bird and eventually kill them. Because it might not kill that mouse. It might not be enough to kill them. But think of these raptors, they're not just eating one mouse, they're eating quite a few. And so all of that pesticide will accumulate in the owl. And we get a lot of cases where some animals are perishing or coming to us very sick because of pesticides. Or even fish, if you think about how polluted some of the waterways are, eagles and stuff, and other birds that eat fish will collect that, and that pesticide or that mercury usually it's lead poisoning, will accumulate inside of that bigger bird, and eventually that could cause them to perish as well.
So this is
Try to
Jamie
keep the animal whole.
with Nature's
So what it'll do
Nursery,
is, if you can see her big
educating
talons,
the
it might be
public
kind of
about
hard to see, but
barred
they do have
owls
owl
and
feet,
native
a
wildlife.
big one owlfoot over
This
at
is
the biovac
Moon
table
that
you can
lived
look at.
with
They
me
use their big beak
for,
and they
well,
grab it
stayed with
their
me for
feet, and then
9 months
once
for training.
you can see their big talons. Their big talons will kill that animal, and then they're able to swallow it whole.
What's the degree they turn their head?
That's a good question. So a lot of people think they can turn their heads all the way around in a circle. That is not true. They can turn their heads 270 degrees. So I want everybody to try something for me, okay? I want you to try 2 things. The first thing, I want you to not move your head, okay? And look at the ground. And the walls. Well, there's no walls. And to the side. And the sky. You can all do that, right? Yeah? Owls can't move their eyes. They don't have the eye muscles in order to do that. So owls had to evolve more bones.
Moon's watching the birds.
So whereas people, we have 7 bones in our neck, owls have 14. So I want everybody to try something for me. Can you look right behind you without moving your shoulders and your waist? You can't move your eyes either. Remember, you're an owl. Can you guys do it? No. So owls can do it 270 degrees. They can look left, they can look right, and then they can keep going and look right behind them. But if they want to look over there, they have to turn their heads all the way back around. If they want to flip 360 degrees, their heads would fall off, and that wouldn't be good. Any other questions? Yeah.
How much can they eat in a night?
Usually they catch about 1 rodent a night. Sometimes it depends on how big it is and how lucky they are. Some nights they don't eat at all, so they might make up for it another night. I don't know what she was looking at. But yeah, so if they don't eat one night, they might make up for it the next night and eat more. She weighs about 2 pounds, I believe, is the last time we weighed her. And she's usually heavier than the owl you would find out in the wild because she gets fed every day. We actually have to fast them on certain days so they don't become overweight. Any other questions?
What would be the size of what would be the size of an animal they would
Thank you, Jamie.
Laura, remember that owl prowl that we went on that
usually
winter when
about
it
a
was
rat.
so cold?
Yeah.
We never saw an owl, but I got a lot of
They'll also
icicles
eat
jumping
snakes,
it.
too.
It was fun though.
It was
Might
fun.
be kind of harder for
Yeah.
them to eat a snake whole. They might rip that one out.
Okay, so I just want to show you guys Moon. They have Nature's Nursery has several animals here, and remind me not to zoom in anymore because it won't let me to zoom out. I'll go live. They have Jefferson, the American kestrel, that was over for training. They have Luther, the barn owl, which I used to train all the time at Nature's Nursery. They've got Francis, the pigeon that I stayed with at a convention in a hotel in Columbus with. And they have Harrison. So maybe I'll go live with the Harrison. All right, stay tuned. See you guys.